Blog Talk Radio. Chatting with Nat is a podcast for independent women seeking to speak their truth and to break down barriers. We host honest conversations that help to guide and empower women. Speak your truth and set yourself free. Let your voice be heard. Hi everyone, it's Natalie Dean. Yes, it's Chatting with Nat. Today I have the honor of having award-winning singer-songwriter Brenda Best. Brenda Best is a Nashville award-winning singer-songwriter. ASCAP Songwriting Awards in 2011 for writing Golden Years. Brenda is also a four-time Nashville Independent Music Award winner, NIMA 2012 and 2013. In 2015, she was inducted into the Canadian Country Music Hall of Fame, New Brunswick. She's a member of the Country Music Association, the CMAs, the Gospel Music Association, GMAs, Nashville Songwriter Association International, NSAI, and a voting member of the Recording Academy, the Grammys. She performs regularly at her residency show at the Nashville Nightlife Theater, a long-time running show since 2002. Also, Brenda Best and her band, The Unusuals, perform honky tonks in Nashville. She has released over 30 songs available on iTunes, and her videos are on YouTube. Let's give a round of applause for Brenda Best.
Jean, hi, Nat. How are you, hon?
Good. How are you, Brenda?
I'm telling you, I am fine, and I want to say hello to everybody too who's listening in tonight. I posted a lot of links, or the link, and
right.
A lot of times I posted to remind everybody. So I'm hoping that they're catching the show tonight from everywhere around the world, including back home in New Brunswick, Canada.
Amen to that. I hope everybody is tuning in because you are an awesome singer-songwriter. That's why I had to put the applause on. I love that. I love that button because I want people to feel like they are stars. You are already a star. You are a
as soon as I heard all the applause, I started laughing because I thought, oh my gosh, I never got that before. Not on live podcast. I love it.
I love that. That's the first time for you. Oh, I love it. I'm glad that I was able to honor you with the applause. So how have you been doing during this pandemic?
Oh, listen, let's talk about it. I'll tell you what, it was I don't know. I'm kind of an easygoing type of person, and I kind of go with the flow, and I figured out how to get creative and even learn new things during the whole time because we didn't have any gigs since last year, March 13th, is when everything came to a close, and I thought, wow, really? It kept going and going and going, and nothing was happening. So I figured, well, you know what? I'm going to try to make the best of this and learn how to play piano. So I bought a little portable piano. Believe it or not, it was really a Christmas gift from my husband, and it was like $50. And I think he tests me out every time I say, hey, I'm going to learn how to play this or that. He buys me a cheap instrument. And if I do okay, he'll buy me a better one.
I love him already.
So I'm ready for the baby grand piano. Listen, I am. But I'm playing a little bit. I used to have a keyboard a long time ago, and I used to play around with that. But this time I really got into serious music. And of course, today, too, you can watch so many great YouTubers teaching you free how to play or how to do stuff. So I use that a lot, and it gave me a lot of great pointers. So I was thankful for that, for the internet and my piano. Other than that, I think I survived mentally and just feeling like, still feeling connected again because thanks to getting back with friends and still doing music. I didn't do that many Facebook Live shows,
Right.
but I did do one, and it was during a rough time that my hometown was having in Campbellton, New Brunswick, in Canada, and
Okay.
I did it for them, and I sat there with my amp and a guitar and a mic and all that, and kind of wished them all well, because they were doing so well with restricting COVID into their town. They were like top in the whole country and almost in the world, that they didn't even have a case in the entire city. So I wanted to wish them well, because they had kind of, that whole deal broke down when somebody had infected the town. So I wanted to sing for them. So I did a Facebook Live especially for them. And then I started liking the idea of Facebook Live. So I've been doing one here and there. And last night we had a show, Natalie, we had a live show here in Nashville at the Nashville Nightlife. Yeah, and I posted it, and I did a live podcast last night from the stage and from the dressing room later on. So what I did is I left them there, and they should be on there for like till tonight. So that's how I've been coping.
Well, you've been doing a good job. See, I'm going to follow suit with you. I was supposed to learn the keyboard 5 years ago when I bought like a smart keyboard. It's been in the box for 5 years now. But this year it's coming out so I can learn. All I have to do is attach my iPad to it and learn. And I love the fact that you reminded me that I could go on YouTube and people can teach you. Like, I bought all these downloadable software and stuff to learn also, and CDs and books and all that stuff. But I'm going to take your cue and really start to do it, because I need to. So how did you get started in music?
I was a kid, and I grew up with a family that was pretty musical, starting with my mother's side of the family, the Robichaud, a French family, and they just had the gift. You know, my granddad, he played violin, and he was half deaf, is what my mother told me, but he could still feel like, I don't know, it's the vibration. I think he even had this, Mom would tell me stories about Granddad Robichaud, Jean-Charles Robichaud was his name, and he'd put his ear, of course, against the fiddle, and he could hear what he was playing. So everybody else around him had to accompany him. So I think that I laugh, but I kind of understand how that would have worked, and I could still picture it. And he passed away. I never met him. I think there's a picture of me somewhere where I was 3 years old and holding his hand, walking down the road with he and my mother. And, I never met him, but I heard so many great things, and that's where it all started. And he married a musician, Landry, and Madame Landry, Albino. And she was very talented as well, and played accordion. So they'd play like kitchen gigs, and all their kids eventually played like banjos and mandolins, and they always had music going. And Mom was a guitar player, very talented singer. So I think I caught it from that side of the family for sure. And my sisters were awesome. They were talented. They went by the Best Sisters. I have 5 sisters.
Wow.
And three brothers, yep. And they always had music. So I just like, wow, and I'm the baby. I say it like that, but Mom would say it like that. I'm the youngest. And I just decided to continue taking it a little bit farther than, and on their behalf, because really I think they would have had that dream, but they didn't have maybe the time, or they didn't really, maybe they couldn't, maybe it's like they probably had that dream, but things happened. Some of them got married and had children, and that became a priority, and I can understand that. So we all had our paths, but I hope I make them proud, and that make them say, hey, my little sister is winning awards, doing music. And for me, that makes me feel like I'm part of the legacy of our family and enjoying and celebrating our talents in music.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So how would you describe your music?
Yeah, it's a mix. And I think in my head, I have so many different genres that come together when I create music. But I think that eventually, being in Nashville, it ends up being a country song. And I laugh because I think sometimes part of me wants to be the rock and roll kid that grew up like that I loved rock and roll as a kid. And then I end up in a city like Nashville and making money doing country music shows. So it's like, well, I think I'll just keep doing this country stuff because it's really fun and it pays off and it's honest, and I don't, I think I fit the description of a country star. So I'll go with that.
I love the fact that you're extremely versatile, and I think over time, even country music has evolved because we have country pop, we have country rock, we have country indie. So we have so many different types of country music. I mean, there's country gospel, country Christian. There's all kinds of different country. And I like the fact that music as a whole evolves, because I personally don't like to do the same thing all over again. That's why I've moved into the Americana genre that allows me to do the country, the rock, the blues, the jazz, and stuff like that. It gives me a lot of flexibility. And it helps to be a versatile artist, especially if you want to get your music into film, TV, license, and it's better if you have a larger repertoire because you can get involved in so many different modalities. So I say congratulations to you for being able to do that. So you feel that like you're in Nashville and people just start to think that your music is just country. But here we know that you're very versatile, and it's not just country, because you started to do Christian gospel music, right?
And even when you say that, thanks for bringing that up, because I feel it's so important for us to talk about, because a lot of people do think that they put me in a mold. They say, well, she's country, and that doesn't fit like the style that we're doing. But some people know me a little bit more, and you do too, because you were in New York City, right, in 2019, and we were at the bitter end and performing, and I love it. You know what? That song that I sang there, The Bitter End, I ended up making a video of that, like just until I finished the song in the studio. I want to make that more like, believe it or not, a producer in LA said to me, a good friend of mine, Ajax and Anthony J. Resta, he's produced stuff with Counting Crows and a lot of different bands. He's a good friend of mine. He said, you know what? That song has the potential of sounding like Jeff Lynne or Tom Petty. He said, you got that in you. He said, so keep developing that. And what's cool is when you do find a versatility, even though people put you in a mold of, hey, she's a country music performer. Well, as a writer, you're wide open. You can take the songs, those rock and roll songs or whatever you write, pitch them to movies, to film, to other people who are going to sing your songs. So I can't wait. I cannot wait to finish that whole deal with Bitter End. That's going to be the most exciting little project that I made during the pandemic, my friend.
Awesome. Who are your musical influences?
Oh, wow. You are.
No.
Wait. Well, I want to tell people why I said that, and it's the truth. Listen to this. Do you remember, Natalie, when we first met? I mean, let me bring us back. Okay, the first time I think we ever met, we're both members of the Recording Academy. So here we were at the Grammy block party here in Nashville, and we kind of just casually were introduced, Say and all those friends and Grant and all them from Indie Collab. You know, they were all part of all this. Ricky Cash, who won his award and all that. We were excited. But here we were high, you know, and we never really got to talk. So then later on, here we were at the Skirmerhorn Symphony Center at the Josie Awards show, and we won awards. That year I was nominated, but I didn't win. You were a winner, and you got up on that stage. You were one of the performers, and I was blown away by your performance because you were singing a French song. I learned that night that you speak French. And I'm like sitting in the audience, all looking and, you know, at you. I think, hey, that's great. And she's nominated for writing and singing a French song. What? And I'm telling myself, I've been French all my life. I never thought of that. So boom, you put a little bug in me right there. You empowered me, my friend. You really did. I was so excited, and I took one of my English songs, Golden Years, the bestseller I've got. You know, weirdly, I'll tell you more about that song itself. But that night, you inspired me, and I rewrote Golden Years in French, Les années dorées. And thanks to you, because you really, really inspired me, and I got that project done, you know. So cool. So you are one of my influences. But if we go back, I bet you that's what you're looking for. Somebody like in the past, way back, who influenced me as a kid, sort of thing. Geez, there were a lot of people, and I love Dionne Warwick. I know that sounds odd. It sounds odd as hell. But, you know, here a little white girl here, and I love the black music a lot. You know, I really do. We had a lot of that playing on the radio. We had a good DJ, by the way, in our hometown. We had a guy named Steve Bijou, and he was our DJ, so he was really versatile. And I'd listen to him, and I kind of grew up on anything he was playing. So everything from Dionne Warwick to the Eagles to bands like Toto, oh my gosh, you know, Queen, all those bands, they were just the most awesome things I've ever heard. And then, so I could name a lot of female artists as well. I think I started really loving country music more when it changed to, and I know I love the traditional stuff. I don't want anybody to beat me up over that, because I do a lot of traditional country music here in Nashville, because that's what we do at our show. But I really liked it when I heard Shania Twain, and it was like, wow, you know, she's doing this amazing sound. And her husband at the time was a producer, and he had done productions with Def Leppard. So there was a whole influence there of rock and roll. And I think that was driving me to like it even more. So there was something about that. I want to tell you, too, that I was telling you about that DJ, Steve Bijou. What's weird telling you about Steve is it just popped into my head to tell you that he's interested in starting and inviting me on one of his podcasts as being a co-host. So awesome. His show is called Down Home Corner. So I might be doing one of his shows tomorrow, and we often post information about his show on my Facebook as well. So yeah, I mean, I hope that answered. It was all over the place what I answered about my influences, but it's all true. It's just all there from my heart.
No, I know, and I appreciate your kind words. And yeah, no, it came from your heart. That's you being authentic. I love that. No, it was perfect. It was perfect. Now you've started to write more about spiritual stuff, Christian.
Yeah.
music about God. So tell me why you've gotten involved in writing more spiritual music, specifically more about God.
Yeah, well, I'm just a lot more religious than I used to be. I don't know if it's because I'm, more mature with God now. A few years back, I was so inspired by a preacher, and I grew up as a Catholic, still am. And here I was, here in the South, I was tuned in to a Baptist minister, Charles Stanley, on TV. And it's like one day Sunday morning, I'm like having a bad day and just things aren't working. And I couldn't change the remote control. And it was stuck on his station. It was stuck on his station. And it's like, it's weird, but I thought maybe I need batteries in this thing. Let's get this off the air, change the channel. No, it was going to stay there. And I heard that sermon that Sunday, and it talked to me. It was like, this is important. Hey, this is in Atlanta. I thought, I'm going to drive to Atlanta and see this guy sometime. So I called down, found out that it was right there in Atlanta. So we went down to a few of his services, and what an interesting man. And for some reason, everything that I've heard him say has really led me to reading the Bible every day.
Okay.
It's just unbelievable. So I feel that now there's a gift from God speaking right into me that I want to write things that are spiritual, that are, Christian music and Christian rock. There's also a market for that.
Oh, yeah.
I think that it's a gift, and the more that I talk about it, the more my friends and people want to open up too and talk about it, because sometimes we hold back because, it's religion, we don't want to bother anybody with it or something. I don't know what it is, but my God, it's such a beautiful thing when you're open about that and you help your friends through it. You are a witness, I think, of what you've experienced and how it helps you through life. I think that more and more people will be more interested in what you have to say, and sometimes music can really say it all. Your words and what you share with people. It can be very emotional, but it can also be funny sometimes. It can be happy. And I'm all about that, bringing the best out of people.
I love that. So I have to piggyback on something that you said. So one day, I used to listen to this one station all the time, and one day the station would just not work. It wouldn't work whatsoever. I was like, okay. So I went to this old station that I was listening to in Maryland, which is 107.3, and I had forgotten they changed that station to K-Love. The K-Love, the organization, bought. So what's interesting to me is that the song that played at that moment when I had to switch over to K-Love was a song that I needed to hear. And I am so in love with that station, because every time I get into the car and I hear songs from there, I'm so inspired by the music, and it's spiritual. It's now, it's not like it's songs from 1950s, 1940s. The songs are so relevant. They're so hip, and they're talking about God and all that stuff. The only thing I wish they had more. I'm like this for every radio station. I plan to write them a letter, because I think they should invite more independent artists to play. To have artists. If we're all talking about God, we have to be all inclusive. But the songs down there are so amazing. And if it wasn't for the fact that radio station had decided to not work on my in my car, I would never have turned it to now I just won't play anything else except for my own music, which I have my own CD in my car.
I love that. Cool.
If you're gonna put out music, you have to love your music. So So I understand the power of the now, meaning that when something is supposed to be in your life, it will be in your life. And it's just amazing. I think the music is just, oh my God. Some of those songs still, when I get in, I dream of the songs half of the time. So what is your writing process like now that you're writing a lot more spiritual Christian type music? So how do you go about writing those songs?
Yeah, wow. Well, sometimes it's right after a sermon. It's like, geez, one time I got my ideas from the sermon. It was like the preacher was saying, you know, you got to really talk to God and almost like ask him for wisdom. That was one thing. I thought, oh, wow. You know, I feel like that's a good idea. You know, I don't ask for things from God that much. You know, I'll pray for my friends and I'll say, you know, hey, somebody's really sick. Can you come pull them out of that, you know, and make them well and pray really hard. But I hardly feel sometimes that I need prayers myself, so I'm really more about other people. So when I did write one of my songs, and that was one I sang, by the way, a live Facebook Live, and I think I left it there where people can see it if they go back. It's it starts off, dear Lord, as I pray to you this morning, it's a privilege that you take me by the hand. Please, Lord, help me handle what's ahead. Would you let me put my trust in your great plan? 'Cause all I want is to have a little wisdom. You see, that kind of, and ooh, when I speak your name, it's called When I Speak Your Name. And what's such a great opportunity. After I did that live show, I also did a live performance at the WSM Midnight Jamboree. And I was so happy because it made me feel like, oh, wow, see that? I wrote for God. He's rewarding me. He's putting me out there where I had never been before. So sometimes it's like the more I do for Jesus, the more I will get rewarded. And I wasn't looking for it, but it just goes to prove that he exists. You know, he's awesome. So I think that I'm all about that. And I would have never really, I think in my younger years, I wanted to be all cool and never admit that. But the older I am, and we know we're going to die someday, well, heck, I want to go to heaven.
That's right. No, I hear you. So we're going to play your song, Woman. Tell us what the song is about.
Yeah, that one has a lot of Bible stuff, and people just have to listen. Thanks to John Michael. Wow, he helped a lot on that one. And we put that together a few years ago, and then it's finally just getting out again. And I hope people really like it. And it is a very empowering song for women, because I'll tell you what, God and women, that was one of the things about one day I was thinking. And I'm thinking, hey, God invented us, and we can embrace our strengths and our abilities. And there's just no other creature on earth like the woman, the beauty of a woman.
Amen. Hallelujah.
Let's play that song.
Let's play that song. All right, hold on 1 second. We'll have a word from our sponsor, and we'll play it.
Hi, this is Nikki Chris, and I host a podcast called Mixin' It. Mixin' It focuses on women in the music, entertainment, and the performing arts. Our goal is to provide an avenue for industry veterans and up-and-coming artists, musicians, engineers, and producers to showcase their talent. Listen to Mixin' It on Monday Music Madness at 8 p.m. Eastern on the Sim Radio Network.
Oh, yeah. Let me tell you a story now. We're going to go way back in time. I,
I love that.
I'm telling you.
I was grooving. I was dancing. You got me my booty over here. I'm shaking it. I love that. It was very powerful. No, that is.
Thank you.
That is awesome.
It's a little bit sassy. And, it's not to put men down. Sometimes I think, oh, boy, these guys are going to hate us for that. It's like we are the boss.
No, but what I like is I like that it's spiritual and it's sassy at the same time. It's a bit unconventional, and it's awesome, and you have a wonderful voice, so congratulations on that song. It's fantastic. So,
thank you.
I guess there was a period that you were ill, so how how do you preserve a career despite being ill and going through, wellness and being able to see the vision of your career while going through what you went through?
Oh, wow, yeah. And I'll tell you what, I'll tell you a little bit about how all that started and what it is. Back in the late 80s, in the mid 80s, I'd like to say I was pretty young back there, but I was sick as heck. I had ulcerative colitis.
Wow.
And I was first diagnosed with it before they even had like really good medicines and everything for that. So I went through about, 5 years of not being well, and it really affected my work, and it affected everything I was doing. I was on medication for that and trying to control it, but It didn't seem to work. So then luckily though, I did go into remission, but then when there were a lot of stressful situations sometimes in my life, it seemed to flare up, and I wouldn't feel very well with it. So I went through some problems for about 10 years. And then, out of God's grace, I was near a hospital and visiting down in Virginia, because I was still in Canada when all this was going on. This was before moving into the United States. So I ended up checking myself in for dehydration while I was my first few days in Charlottesville, Virginia, at UVA hospital. And you know what? They needed to treat me, so they admitted me. And I was going into another spell of this ulcerative colitis, but I didn't realize how terrible it was. So I ended up receiving treatment for about 5 days. And then like on the 5th night of treatment, my colon perforated in the middle of the night. And I'll tell you what, I felt that. And they did emergency surgery. I have this huge scar on my belly for that. And it's like, then I ended up having this bag on my body, like the ostomy bag and everything. I mean, I went through all that. And then they were able to close it all up, because what they did is they recreated the intestinal tract. They took, they do like what it is. They'll take the whole colon out is what they did for me. But then they did a reconstruction of taking down my small intestine and creating what they call a J pouch. And so that you can be pretty normal. I think I'd say that. You go through some changes for sure. But at least, there's no ostomy bag and all that. I felt normal because of that. But it took some time, There was a lot of healing. So during that time, I didn't want to think that my life was over. I just wanted to look ahead and think, you know what? This is crazy, but I almost died because I had complications during the surgery, and it almost took my life. So I had to go through 2 other surgeries after that. And then finally, when I felt like I was back on my feet and able to go again, that's where the vision was that I gotta get to Nashville. I gotta do something that's gonna be great for me, but for other people as well, and to write things from my truths, from my stories, and maybe help other people through what I've been through by just telling you, don't give up. If you've got a vision and you have something that you want to do in life, it's never too late. I mean,
right.
There will be some ups and downs, but I think for me there was a lot of changes, not only with the vision, but I had to also readjust my life. I had to do dietary changes.
Right.
I had to, just take care of myself, try to stay in shape, just because staying in shape isn't because of you want to look good. You
right.
want to feel good. You want every part of your insides to work properly. So you're going to treat it like really special with good nutrition, good food. Don't eat too much and all that crap,
Right.
Anyway, so I do, and I'm not an excessive exercise person. I just do enough to feel like, okay, I did something today. It's good enough. I'm tired now. Let's move on. but yeah, I mean, I think sometimes you push yourself to the limit, but in that case, do what you can do. But I think as for a career, you got to keep something in. You got to have a goal in mind, Natalie, and you know all about that. But if anybody out there is listening and they're thinking about giving up on anything, don't give up, everybody. Just keep at it. Do stuff you love, and the things around you that don't make you happy, you got to kind of reconsider what's going on there and maybe make some changes. Whether it's people that you want to change, don't be rotten to them, but just say, hey, this isn't working out. I got to change my life and move on here. So those kinds of things, those are the things that I had to do to move on and to come here and make music. And I got married to a really great guy. After all this, I had been married before, and then I remarried later on because the first husband didn't have the same goals I did. We didn't have the same things going on anymore.
Exactly.
And that was, that's not and it wasn't that great. I hate talking about that because, it's not something that people want to talk about as, divorces and all that. But for us, I think we had an agreement on that, saying, you know what, I think we're going in different directions. Now you've had this going on with you, and he wanted something different. We moved on. And then I remarried to the man of my dreams that I think is the greatest guy I ever met. He's wonderful, and he's supportive. He's really a sweet guy, and he's an American. So I ended up moving here and staying here. I enjoy it, though. I enjoy Nashville. I really do.
I'm
Natalie,
so happy.
Are you from somewhere else? Natalie, you're from somewhere else too, right? Originally, or is your family?
I was born in Washington, D.C., but my family's from Haiti. That's why I speak French.
Oh, that's why you've got the French. I just love it. I love that we're both got that in common too, and music, and knowing you now is such a blessing. Really, I'm following you on Instagram. I follow you on Twitter, and here you are. You invited me as part of your show today. You're playing my music. You're asking about my life, and here we are sharing what we are to other women out there and to people who are interested enough to have listened to me right now for 42 minutes.
Down the minute. Oh my God, that's because you're an awesome person. You're awesome. People need to get to know Brenda, because you are the empowered woman. So tell us about the time you were inducted in the Hall of Fame in Canada in 2015.
Wow, what a surprise! What an amazing time in my life. I was nominated and thought, what? When I got nominated, and I thought, Mr. Knowles, he pulled a lot of, he talked a lot about me. That group of friends had seen me in Nashville. They'd traveled, some of the committee members, and then the president of the the Hall of Fame, and his wife are such nice people too, Ivan and Vivian Hicks. And oh wow, I was just so blessed. 2015, so I was inducted into the Canadian Country Music Hall of Fame in the province of New Brunswick, Canada, and now I have a plaque, and my name is going to be part of history, you know, and again, the legacy of the talents of my family can then be celebrated at a place in Fredericton, New Brunswick, in Canada, where they have an exhibit of all the people who have been inducted over the years. So it's nice, you know. I'm very honored, and just sometimes say, hey, I can't believe I got this far with music. You know, what an amazing thing. I'm glad I followed my dreams.
I can believe it. I can believe it. What do you enjoy most about being an artist?
I think performing live. That's where I get, you can almost sense the excitement, and it just keeps me young, you know. It just sometimes maybe crazy young, you know. It's like, you know, I'm pretty old now. And like, according to the music industry, you know, we're not spring chickens. But what's cool about that is that, you know, music is what keeps people young. I mean, you know, you'll hear people, they'll go to their grave, like they'll have done their last gig and they're bang, you know, they'll kick the bucket at 85 years old, and they were still performing last week, sort of thing. Like, let's talk about people like the Rolling Stones, you know, they're an inspiration right there.
They're so, and they're grooving. I mean, Mick Jagger, he's shaking his thing across the stage. He's doing his thing, and he's just demonstrating you're never too old to do anything.
I know. And you know who else is still performing, and she's one of the best. And a while ago, I didn't tell you this, but honestly, Loretta Lynn. I mean,
she's still there.
I met her. I couldn't believe that I met Loretta frigging Lynn. And you believe that? At the Grand Ole Opry, backstage, I have a picture. I want to post that picture so friends can see this picture I had with Loretta Lynn. And I'm going to put it on Facebook after this show tonight. And just because, I mean, I still can't believe, oh my gosh, I met Loretta Lynn. and she was the coal miner's daughter. You know, some of the younger generations may not really appreciate all the whole story of Loretta Lynn. But sometimes I look at my life and I think, yeah, Loretta was poor, but there's something about that hard times that I know that my side of the family came from that, you know. We didn't grow up with a silver spoon, you know.
Right. No, I know, me neither. No, I know what it's like. So we're going to play
maybe that's why you and I are such hard workers, you know. We never got it easy. We're still working. We're always going to work. We're going to work till we're dead, I think.
Amen. We're going to get it out there. We're going to do our thing. So we're going to play your song, A New Me. Tell us what A New Me is about.
Oh, now I'm glad that you're playing that one. It's such a happy song. When I wrote that, it was, part of me was wanting to inspire a good friend of mine who had said to me, you know, she said, you know, I'm finally making changes in my life, she said. And she said, I just want to be a little bit better than I was. And I said, I don't know. I said, you're great just like you are. And I said, maybe just be like a new you. I said, that's all you got to be. So then I started writing these lyrics, and then I thought, hey, this is going somewhere. And then it kind of became my story, too. It's a new year. It's a new me. And then it's kind of a fun song to play all year round, but a lot of people like it to start when they're starting something brand new. It seems to be a little bit motivating. whether you're a guy or a girl, actually.
Right.
I think that's a pretty cool little song. But I'm glad you're playing it. Let's play it.
All right. Hold on 1 second.
Hi, it's Jordan and Madison, and we're Jay Madison out of Nashville, Tennessee. We'd love to tell you about B Squared Management, artist services by artists for artists. Get your press, branding, single release, and sync success plan now at bsquaredmgmt.com. And listen up to our latest single, Down, now on Spotify.
It's a new year, a new me. I deserve to feel better than I used to feel. A new year, a new me. Gonna change just a few things. Get rid of the bad things. Gonna take better care, finally do something good for me. Some things cost money, some come free. Yeah, make my decision, make me the priority. I've taken care of everybody else. Somewhere I forgot about myself. So now it's my turn, yes it's my turn to turn my life around, spin it all the way all around. It's a new year, a new me. I deserve to feel better than I used to feel. A new year, a new me. Gonna change just a few things. Yeah, get rid of the bad things. Gonna take better care, finally do something good for me. Yeah, mind over matter, 'cause it matters much to me. Positive thinking is the secret way to be. I know I love everybody else. I'll allow now to love myself. Now it's my turn, yes it's my turn to turn my world around. Dance instead of feeling down. It's a new year, a new me. I deserve to feel better than I used to feel. A new day, a new me. Gonna change just a few things. Yeah, get rid of the bad things. Gonna take better care and finally do something good for me. Yeah. Now it's my turn, yes it's my turn to turn my world around. Celebrate this new life I found for myself. It's a new year, a new me. I deserve to feel better than I used to feel. A new day, a new me. Gonna change just a few things. Yeah, get rid of the bad things. Gonna take better care, finally do something good for me. Yeah, gonna take better care and do something finally good for me. Yeah. New year, a new me. Yeah.
Yeah. Now that was lots of
A
fun.
new year. I love that. Thanks. That one keeps me dancing. I just got a text from a friend of mine, Steve. He said, "Hey, that's one of my favorite songs playing now." So he must be tuned in listening. Hey, you know what? Hey, one time, I got to tell you something weird about that song. A new me, a new year, a new me. I just remembered earlier in the show we were talking about pitching songs to companies or movies and so on. Did you know that we pitched that song to Avon? the big company, Avon, because, they have a product called Anu, and I was so hoping that they would use it. I mean, a simple little clip of that Anu, for their product, and they were putting it on TV or something. I was just crossing my fingers. Well, I mean, I'll keep pitching my music. As a songwriter, songs never get old. I mean, they do, but they don't. As writers, you can retire from the stage and still continue writing songs and receive royalties for the rest of your days. So there is a career to be made with songwriting, no matter what age. So if people are out there listening to this and you're writing songs, put those together. Don't be shy about what's in your heart, and write what you know, what you've experienced, and what feels good, and sing demos. Put them out there, because you never know what can happen to those songs. They can become very successful.
What is one quote that you like to live by?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. That.
You're like, I don't know.
I could think a good quote. I think.
Or
geez, I don't have any. Pardon?
Or it could be scripture. Something from the Bible that you like to.
Yeah, and I've got such a poor memory. That's maybe why. That could be why too. That when I do shows, you're never gonna see. You might hear the same songs because the show's program goes that way. But when I come on stage, I get such a feel for the audience that it's rare that I'll say the exact same thing every time in every show. So I think that I just kind of get a feel for people that way. So I'm not one of those to have a certain quote. I'm sorry, I don't have one right off the top of my head that I could say.
You don't have to have one. Okay, so what advice would you give to an up-and-coming artist that's trying to break into this industry?
Yeah, I would. That's such a good question, because I think that everybody has potential, and never to doubt your abilities, because I think that's the thing about most of us is there's a certain side of us who is certain or sure that we could achieve something, but because we are not sure about taking that first step on how to do it, I think put yourself out there where the action is. So let's say you were writing songs, you certainly want to surround yourself with musicians and other people who are writing music, or that can take it to the next level or help you there. And or if you're into another type of career, whether you're a baseball player or something, you don't want to be on a soccer field. That's the kind of thing. So always try to put yourself where people are doing what you're doing. And there's such a great way of connecting now on social media.
Mm-hmm.
You can find, it's unbelievable. So if I were to offer advice, like I would say, stick to what you're doing, be honest, and don't try to be anybody else. I think just try to be yourself and be proud of that. Be okay with that, and be who you are. Be happy. Be the best that you can be.
Amen to that. Oh my God. Can you believe it's already been close to an hour? Thank you so much.
I know.
Brenda, and you were like, I don't know if I'm going to last that long. And thank you so much, Brenda, for being on Chatting with Nat. I really appreciate you being on my show. It has truly been an honor. And if anybody wants to find you, they can go to Instagram at Brenda Best Music. Your website is also www.brendabest.net. They can find you on Twitter. Mm-hmm. They can find you on YouTube. And the best thing that they can do is they can just Google Brenda Best Music.
Yeah.
And you will amazing rockin' Christian music, country music, versatile French artist out there. You will find her. And But thank you so much, Brenda. I really appreciate it. We definitely need to get together. We need to collaborate on a French song someday soon.
I love that. Yes. Natalie, thank you so much. Thanks for having me on your show. It's been an honor, a pleasure, and you made it so easy for me. This is one of the things that I freak out the most is going live, doing live things. I mean, I don't mind doing a live gig, but when it comes time to talking and revealing myself, I'm like, oh, shoot, I'm really scared. But you made it really fun.
You did an awesome job. Thank you so much. Thank you. And I hope you have a great night.
Thank you. And thanks to all the listeners. Have a great night, everybody.
All right. Thank you. And that was Chatting with Nat with award-winning singer-songwriter Brenda Best. She's awesome. Until next time. Chatting with Nat is a podcast for independent women seeking to speak their truth and to break down barriers. We host honest conversations that help to guide and empower women. Speak your truth and set yourself free. Let your voice be heard.